Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Just amazing to have you along for the ride, in all actuality. First up, for the live audience, Miss Guzzi. So I get off the golf course yesterday for the Michael Barkan and Friends golf outing, and I have a severe allergy attack that went into this morning. It was like one of those things I woke up with. And those are the worst. Those are terrible. If you're an allergy sufferer, oh boy. So I kicked it as fast as I could, and I got on the show here. So I appreciate your patience. Secondly, let's celebrate something. Usually, and this is golf outing season. All right. Whenever it's golf outing season, it's usually when I come on the show and I'm bright red. I would like to celebrate the idea that, although I might be a little out of focus, there we go. No, I am not. I don't know red. I feel like I did okay with the sunscreen. All right. I kicked it up to 50, SPS 50. Usually I'm an 8. I'll do the 8, and then that's it. But 50 was what I grabbed before I left the house. I knew it was going to be a scorcher yesterday. How I played doesn't really matter. We had fun. That's all that really matters. Saw some friends, Michael Barkan and friends, as a matter of fact. It was really good. While I'm out there, I see the story about Shams Charania putting it out there with Paul George and the 76ers, their interest waning in Paul George. I have a terrible, I'm gonna acknowledge it as an awful take. Actually, the take I think is fine. What is awful is the 76ers and why I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh, Paul George doesn't want to play here, or the Sixers don't want Paul George here. Okay, all right, okay, fine. That's kind of where I'm at when it comes to this entire free agency thing, and that's why, to spoil a little bit of it right out of the gate, I am in a spot right now with the 76ers where I'm like, I just build people that I know can play when Tyrese Maxey and especially Joel Embiid are not on the court. Like, build around that. As much as I would love to say you could get a solidified, amazing starting 5 or a big 3 or whatever the case may be, as much as I would love to see that, to me, just get the guys that are more under the radar. Don't have the big splashy offseason. And I know that's a terrible thing to say right now when you talk about the Boston Celtics and the fact that they added a winning player in Drew Holiday, and they needed that third player with Drew Holiday, obviously adding him to the fold there with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and being able to get Porzingis. I know he had injury issues, but being able to get players like that. And I'm not saying that Drew Holiday by any means is a glue guy, but he is the upper echelon of winner, all-star player, and a champion already. I said it many times, he would have been a perfect fit here in Philadelphia as well. Obviously, that didn't work out so well. But I look at the Sixers team and I say, just find the guys that'll be the under-the-radar guy, that guys that will help put you over the top, because what it really comes down to is Joel Embiid, and we'll get to that in a second. Also, earlier in the week, we didn't talk about it, but Braves manager Brian Snicker put out a challenge, if you will, to the Philadelphia 76ers, or excuse me, to the Philadelphia Phillies, being that they are in first place. They have been in first place since May 4th, and the Braves have only been watching their depths expand in terms of how far into second place they are behind the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, look, anyone who's grown up watching the Phillies, anyone who's grown up watching the NL East and the Braves doing what they do almost every single year, one thing I just find it absolutely impossible to do is just completely count out the Braves. Look, if I'm betting, which I am, the Phillies are winning the division. I think the division, this is going to contradict what I just said, but it's locked up. However, put it like this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Braves all of a sudden just won every game they ever played, and then they take the division. However, this is the Phillies division. So let me just say that again. This is the Phillies division. I don't see the Braves coming back. All right, we could say that. But I did not expect Brian Snicker in June to talk about how the season's not over. They're not eyeing the wild card. They're going for the division. Now, you could say, what's he gonna say? But listen to the way he delivers this line to the media this week. This was on Tuesday of this week.
I'm not planning on doing a wild card series. We're planning on winning the East.
There you go. There you go. Now, if that's our guy, now in all honesty, if that was Rob Thompson, not that I've really heard Rob Thompson that boldly say something along those lines, he'll say something along the lines of this. He'll say something like, if the Phillies are really struggling, whatever, like the year they went to the World Series, if you remember, going into September, they had hit a little bit of a lull. And he said, no, well, this team's going to the playoffs. Like he said, he flat out just said it like that. And they're back on track, get to the playoffs. Yeah? But, in September, you can expect some things to be said with your chest. All right. In June, it's like it might be a feel out situation. Like, we got to see how we got some things got to fall in place. Guys got to start doing what we expect from them and what they're signed to do and stuff like that. A little, not timid, but not as bold or brazen. So Brian Snitker comes out with that on Tuesday of this week, talking about how this Braves team is going to go out there and they're going to win the NL East. Well, the Philadelphia Phillies are obviously having a historic season that we've all been able to enjoy a lot here in Philadelphia. I want Brian Snitker, I want the Atlanta Braves talking as much as humanly possible before the Phillies go and face them. I want that motivation. Bulletin board material is a real thing. I don't understand how any sports fan can deny it, how anybody can poo-poo it, how anyone can say it doesn't matter. The thing throughout, whether even it's a football season where you're only playing 17 games or it's a 162-game baseball season, and I'll even say this, especially in a 162 game baseball season, when a team is playing that many games, and a team like the Phillies, for instance, is ahead right now by 7 games in the NL East, any excuse for that team to pull focus, even if it's a division rival, even if it's a team that's in second place, albeit by 7 games in second place, even if it's something like that, I want the Phillies having a bullseye on the back of the Atlanta Braves. I want the Phillies going into that series. It's coming up in a couple weeks. I want the Phillies to go into that series thinking this is the series that they got to make a statement. Now, that did not work out well at all in Baltimore when you were going up against one of the other best teams in baseball, and you couldn't win 2 out of 3. You couldn't win that series. You had chances, and then you blew it, which was terrible. But when it comes to this particular series against the Braves, we all know that there's a lot more history involved there. There's not some World Series from 1983 that we're referencing. No, this is things that happened last year, things that happened this year, and things that have happened over the course of decades and decades and decades of watching these teams go at it. So for me, I look at that series and I want as much bulletin board material as possible. I don't want the Phillies looking ahead of the Diamondback series. I don't want them looking ahead of any other series that they got here in front of them before they take on the Braves. But for me, just hearing something like that from Brian Snitker makes me go, okay, keep this interesting. Please and thank you. Keep this interesting. Right now, the Braves, 7 games behind the Phillies. Braves are only 10. It's crazy to think. 10 games above 500. 7 games behind the Phillies. Now, the Braves, by the way, are going into a very difficult series here against they just swept the Tigers. They're going into a 3-game series against the New York Yankees now. And they are going to be in New York for that. So they actually have a 7-game road trip on their hands starting tonight. 3 in New York at Yankee Stadium, 3 in St. Louis against the Cardinals. And then they got 1 in Chicago. I think that's a makeup game. 1 in Chicago at 4:10 this Thursday, or excuse me, next Thursday. Next Thursday. So they got a rough stretch here. Do the Braves, especially going up against the Yankees team, who also, by the way, is coming off a really rough series there against the Baltimore Orioles. So it doesn't get easier here for the Atlanta Braves. And then in the first week of July 5th, 6th, and 7th, that's when they take on the Phillies before the All-Star break. 2 series before the All-Star break. They'll square off against the Philadelphia Phillies. That's the next time they play them. So that's what we're looking at right now in baseball and this Philadelphia Phillies team. Also, Mason Miller of the Oakland A's. There was a report yesterday MLB.com had regarding the term blown away. we're more than a month away from the trade deadline. Now is the time blown away is going to get used. This is, I mean, you can follow the bouncing ball. It happens every year. Every single year, there becomes a name that is just hot to trot, man. It's the hottest name in the market. And when you talk about a closer, talking about bringing somebody in like a Mason Miller's talent level, obviously, contract, being a young player, all that. And blown away. We're not considering making a move unless we are blown away. And last night, MLB.com put it out there that the A's are not going to be moving Mason Miller unless they are, quote, blown away. So what does that mean for the Phillies? What does that mean for everybody else? Well, that means get ready to part with some top prospects. That's what that means. The last time the Phillies parted with one of their top prospects for a relief pitcher, I believe that was the Brown for Robertson. David Robertson for the Cubs. Yeah, that didn't work out for Philly, unfortunately. But that's what it was. Ben Brown. I think it was Ben Brown is now pitching at the major league level for the Cubs. That's something that the Phillies got to be a little bit wary of, obviously. I can't remember a time where the Phillies really opened the bank or opened the farm system for a closer, but that's one instance of at least getting a relief pitcher in recent memory. It didn't work out for the Phillies. This time around, I'm looking at this Phillies bullpen, and if you're Dave Dombrowski and you're more than a month away from the trade deadline, and it's getting closer and closer, of course, there's two things I think you want to see less of. You want to see less of Gregory Soto. I think you want to see a solidified closer. Okay, when you talk about if you're going to have less of Soto, I think that means you want to be able to move guys that you have in your bullpen that aren't necessarily legitimate closers, have them come in, be able to have them in earlier in the ball game, especially in the playoffs, and then make sure you go into a guy in the ninth inning you feel can slam the door. Mason Miller is certainly the guy that jumps to mind when you think about that. The other thing is less Nick Castellanos. Hey, look, got a hit in 3 games. He's coming off a series where he had 7 hits in 3 games. That's great. I very much have my doubts that Nick Castellanos is all of a sudden going to put in a month that is going to make you go, oh, here's a 300 hitter. Oh, here's a 350 on base percentage. Oh, 7 home runs. Oh, look at this. Like in a 30-game span, I don't see it happening. I feel like pitchers have cracked the code of Nick Castellanos, and they've really done it ever since the end of last year. Or excuse me, ever since the second half of last year. Phillies had a great first couple of runs there in the playoffs, and then everything went to hell in the last 3 games there against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Nick Castellanos was a part of that. So for me, it is pretty hard. What was it? 0 for 26, his last 26, something like that last year. I think what they were doing last year, Nick Castellanos are doing again, which is you could get him, you could fool him easily on low and outside pitches. And you know he's going to try to jump on every first pitch you throw his way. So it's similar to Kyle Schwarber almost, although I got a lot more confidence in Kyle Schwarber laying off pitches that are far away. Actually, at times I wish he would flail away at those pitches that are low and just a bit outside, a little too close to take sometimes. But Nick Castellanos just doesn't make that adjustment. He can do all the batting practice he wants. And if that builds his confidence, and again, I love the idea of the work ethic. If I'm Nick Castellanos, maybe I change things up, not necessarily less is more, but maybe if I don't do the batting practice and just concentrate on my mental approach, then I'll be a little bit better off. Then maybe not less, but a different. Not less work, but different work. Because whatever it is, it doesn't work. Hey, look, I hope he proves me wrong and has that 30-game stretch where he looks like an all-star and looks like he can carry this team and all that stuff. I really would love to see that happen. Not going to happen. No, by the way, I didn't even acknowledge this yesterday, but they gave Trey Turner the day off. Did you see who was batting second? Because it wasn't Nick Castellanos, despite Rob Thompson saying, well, no, he's had good at-bats in the 2 spot. He's terrible. The 2 spot. 2 spot, I don't need you to impress me with good at-bats. All right, I'm not going to be a president. 2 spot, I need production. All right, you could go down to bat 6th in this order and have good at-bats. You bat second in this lineup, you have production. Bryson Stott was batting second. So if you're Dave Dombrowski approaching the trade deadline, I think you're looking at your bullpen, less Gregory Soto, also the ability to be to move Jose Alvarado up, Jeff Hoffman up, move those guys up in the bullpen there, and have a legitimate closer, and then also less Nick Castellanos. I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to have to be forced to do that, which means Nick Castellanos has to continue to not hit. And also moving $40 million over the next 2 years, that could be tough. Phillies could certainly pay some of that money. They most likely will if they move Nick Castellanos, but I don't see that happening, unfortunately. So I think the biggest move that the Phillies are going to make that is also plausible is going to be for the bullpen. And I know that has a lot of people excited, even if the words blown away are being used. Now, before I go on to our next topic here, I want to tell you guys. So my parents, Joe and Eleanor, they're Joey and Elle, they're downsizing. They're going to be moving, okay, which is about time. Like, they still live in a big house that my brother and I grew up in, and a huge yard that my dad still maintains and all that stuff. And I'm like, Dad, please stop working outside. Like, today's the day. I don't know if your dads are like this, but today's the day where my dad, I'll call him like, hey, Dad, how you doing? He'll be like, oh, I'm just pulling up trees in the backyard. I'm like, you're what? I'm pulling up trees and I'm going to put in a fence. It's hot out today. Yeah, Dad, get inside. What are you doing? You know, like, my dad just never stops working. Actually, what's really funny is that a member of I don't want to say who, but a member of the media that I've known for a long time is moved into my parents' neighborhood, actually. After I moved out, this guy moved in. And he goes, Mark, every time I go by your house, your dad's out there mowing a lawn. I'm like, is he crazy? And I'm like, yeah, he's nuts. But anyway, parents are downsizing. So Eleanor, my lovely mother, brought over this box. Now, this box is not a box of personal items necessarily of mine from like my old room or anything. However, she told me it's books. I don't know. I didn't open it yet. I just thought it'd be funny to go through it live on the show with you guys. So we're gonna do the Sixers topic. Then we'll talk about Paul George. I'm gonna talk about why I am in the pit of despair when it comes to the 76ers. And then we're gonna go through this box. I don't know the books that are inside. They could be my old grade school books. They could be college books, which it would be about time that I opened them. Anyway, or I don't know. It could just be books that my mom just wants to see if I get rid of. So we'll go through that. Let the suspense build. So yesterday, I'm playing in the Michael Barkan and friends golf outing. And here's what went down. Shams Charania puts this story out there in the middle of the day, people. The middle of the day. Well, the middle of the golf outing, at least. Philadelphia 76ers' interest in pursuing Paul George has significantly waned. Significantly waned in recent days. Franchise is expected to be aggressive elsewhere with its salary cap flexibility and draft capital leading into next week's NBA draft. That's where we are right now with the 76ers. I saw this. I know a lot of people are disappointed, but then actually it was like going through the comments, and a lot of people that seem to be Sixers fans are in a very similar mindset and headspace that I am in right now. And that is, it's this. It's not necessarily whether you like or don't like Paul George. What it comes down to is really your confidence level in Joel Embiid. So when these names get thrown out there, even if it's back in the day with James Harden, even with that, it's like it doesn't matter unless you get the version of Joel Embiid that is an MVP level player. So I'm kind of in this, I am in this headspace. And I know you guys heard me talking about this the other day when it came to Drew Holiday and just the depression that was beset upon me when it came to what Drew Holiday could have brought to the table here, the historical relevance of Drew Holiday winning his second championship as it pertains to the 76ers and all that. But this is something different. This is everything about Joel Embiid. And he's your guy. He's your number one guy. He's your star. He's your MVP. Okay, let's get all that all out of the way. Unless I can have confidence that he is A, going to be available, B, going to be anything close to 100%. And this past year, God love him, he fought through the injuries, and he went out there. He played as best as he could. He played in the series. He did not take a series off. He took a fourth quarter off. He did not take a game off. He went out there and played. He powered through it. Good for him. We don't hear the word toughness surrounding Joel Embiid. This series, you can certainly throw toughness at Joel Embiid, saying that he tried to tough it out through this injury to even play. That's great. But it's not just about being healthy. It's not just about being able to tough out a performance. It's about being good enough and playing at a high enough level to get your team out of the first round of the playoffs. Then the absolute impossible, the second round of the playoffs, and then the unthinkable, oh my goodness, an Eastern Conference Finals, and then just the damn near impossible, winning a championship. Whoever the Sixers get this offseason, whether it's Paul George or LeBron James, it's all going to come down to how Joel Embiid performs in the playoffs. This is what we have been trained to think and feel as 76ers fans. So whoever they add, it doesn't matter. If you don't get Joel Embiid playing in April, May, June, it doesn't matter. Even if it's an injury that happens during the regular season, that is one that is not, it's one that he can recover from, and it's one that there's not going to be a lot of wear and tear, whatever injury that is. I don't know, something. You go out there and you come back, and you can get right back to the level of play after the ramp up period of 10 games, whatever you need to get yourself into game shape again. If you could even have a similar season to last year where it's not as threatening, like with a meniscus injury, and you can come back and play at a high level, fine. But all this off-season BS isn't going to matter unless Joel Embiid shows up at the end of the season and in the playoffs. It's not going to matter. And I hate, as someone who just enjoys the sport of basketball, I hate watching an NBA season. I hate watching a Sixers season going, all right, 82 games. They've won 50. Didn't happen last year, but they win 50 games, whatever. Let's say this year you have a healthy Joel Embiid for the majority of the season. Tyrese Maxey takes another step forward. You get some good glue guys, whatever. You have another good season. It's the same as last year, where you're watching the regular season going, all right, it doesn't really matter until you're in the playoffs anyway. That's when the real season starts. In this past year, what did we get? 6 games? 5 games? 5 games. 5 games of the postseason, five games that sort of mattered. Cool. We're all having fun. We're all having a boatload of fun. I wish it wasn't the case, but I feel like it's just the same story every single year. Yeah. The 6 games. The six games against the Knicks. So, yeah, that's great. That's great. We're all feeling wonderful. I would love to be excited and want to have more fun with the NBA offseason, but doesn't appear to be for us. Long road to hell. Next week, NBA draft. Let's go. Let me tell you right now about the great people at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. MyBookie. Wonderful to have you along for the ride when it comes to MyBookie. You can bet on the world of baseball. You can bet on the world of basketball. You can bet on the world of just about anything when you talk about MyBookie at MyBookie.ag. Want to bet on the Phils? You can do so at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code FARS to get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code FARSY, get $20 off your first purchase. Tonight, Cole Hamels night at CBP. You want to go to that game? Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase at the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time has you covered for that. And how about this? They have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals, even ticket deals for an hour after the event starts for huge savings at the Game Time app. Also, the Game Time guarantee, where if you find tickets in the same section, same row for less money, you can get 110% of the difference refunded to your account through the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase at the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. All right, before we get to the chat check, I know you guys might have some things you want to chime in on all this, so let's get to it here. First, excuse me while I handle my allergies. There we go. All right. Let's get to this. These are books from my mom as Joe and Eleanor are downsizing. I haven't opened this. She just told me they were books. Let's see what we got going on here. Nice. I love the WB Mason. WB Mason still sponsoring the Phils, by the way? All right. All right. All right. Immediately, I don't know if you guys live near your parents or what the deal is, but if you ever go to your parents, there are certain books that just stick out as books that have just been there forever. All right. So I'm already flashing back here. Okay. All right. This book, Essentials of Wine, has been a guide. Okay. Essentials of Wine, a guide to the basics. This book has just been like in my parents' cabinet in the kitchen. I think this is the first time it's been touched by human hands in 30 years. It's got to be. All right. Oh, hi, California. That's nice. Ooh, Italy. Ooh. From the foothills of the Alps in the north of the sizzling hot Sicily in southern Italy, Italy has a wide range of climates. Okay, that means good wine, I guess. All right. Here we go. George Foreman's Knock Out the Fat. This book came out before Michael Scott stepped his. Ooh, there's a insert. Ooh, one to take to colleges. Okay, thank you, Mother. I won't be needing that. That's before Michael Scott stepped on the George Foreman grill. Wait. Not one, but two books on how to microwave meals from the 80s? All right, let's see. I think my mom knew I wanted this. What year is this? 1986. Anybody want this? I'll mail it to your house. Basic microwaving. This is good. Basic microwaving. Oh. What are you doing to that chicken? Basic microwaving. This book looks older. That last book was 1986. Basic microwave. Microwave cooking library. Basic microwave. 1978. What the hell, man? This book's older than me. Oh, okay. Let's see. Microwaving. This is all like, these are all stuff like nobody eats today. Don't eat that. All right. All right. Let's see. Wait, no, don't tell me a third book. No, magic flavor. Okay. Lipton? They made recipe books? Oh, here we go. Fresh Taste of Italy by Michelle Scilone. That looks nicer. A little squid ink pasta. That looks nice. That's what I can actually use. All right, let's see. We got another Italian cookbook, which is hilarious. Betty Crocker on the Grill. I don't know about that, Bets. Crockpot cooking. Desperation. Entertaining. How to make a marvelous meal in a matter of minutes. These are all cookbooks. Well, Membel's trying to tell me something. She doesn't like my cooking. Another Italian cookbook. Ooh, classic Italian. A taste My Polish mother with a taste of the East. My mother's never made any type of Chinese meal, any type of Japanese meal, Korean, nothing of the sort. It's never happened. Oh, and then, okay. I remember this. I think my mom, this might be the only thing my mom ordered offline. Offline. Did I say offline? I mean from an infomercial. 10,001 hints and tips for the home. Removing stains, covering walls, cleaning, health and safety, storage, moving, cooking, planting, how to have your wife have less opinions. Wait, hold on. How old is this book? I'm kidding. I made that part up. Okay, hold on. What's something that could be helpful to people? I want to help you guys out. You know, this is a helpful show. What the? All right, let's just. Setting up a home office. Oh, that's actually good for some people. No, that's too long. Oh my God, the computer in here is one that you play Oregon Trail on. Well, this is actually, I've seen this book a million times and never opened it. Allotting work time? No, thanks. Actually, that could help me. Maybe start the show on time. Keeping records. Keep careful records for both business purposes and professional reference. Whether you store records on paper or by electronic means, organize the information clearly and neatly and in such a way that you can easily refer to it. Somebody wrote a book about this. Oh, make sure you cut up your credit cards when you're done with them, when they expire. And put a little hole punch in your driver's license. That's the stuff you get here. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. I can't be certain, but I think they're poking this kid with a broom. Somebody's electrocuted. Poke him with a broom. Electrical injuries. This is the advice. This is how I was raised, kids. Probably when I was born, my mom bought this book. I was like, how do you raise kids? What do you do with these? If they're electrocuted, you poke them with a broom. I wouldn't lie to you. That guy is poking this kid with a broom. What book should I keep out of that? The microwave books? The George Foreman book? I feel like I should keep the George Foreman book. And frame it, have it in the backdrop somewhere of the show. All right, so I think I'll keep the Italian books just because, you know, that and 10,001 hints. See, kids, before we had the internet, people just had to write books of 10,001 things that you might need one day. You know, the stuff that you Google, how to set up a home office, how to poke a kid with a broom. Or under what are the circumstances in which it's okay to poke a kid with a broom? Apparently electrocuted. All right, back to the show. Let's see how you guys are doing. Checking on the chat check here. See you guys are wonderful. Affiliate. IBH, good morning. Sean Kilrain, good morning. April, good morning. Jean Gillespie, hello. Jason A, what's going on? Jason A, thank the Lord I never wanted Paul George. He's a loser. Has a loser mentality his whole career. I'm not a big... I told you guys this a while ago. Like, I'd rather get a more under the radar guy. Like, this week's been a little interesting with this story now with Paul George, and then earlier in the week, Brian Windhorst. So Sham puts out there about Paul George. Paul George, and then Brian Windhorst puts it out there about OG Anunoby, saying that he's underwhelmed, not thrilled with the Knicks offer for him right now. Most people still think he's going to go back to New York, but as of right now, he's not thrilled with what the Knicks are offering. And the Sixers have all this money. The Magic, they have all this money to just be thrown around. And I wasn't too crazy on Paul George either. Paul George, one of those situations that I would have to talk myself into and probably would. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the guy. And then really what it comes down to is it doesn't matter. If Joel Embiid's not healthy, Paul George and Tyrese Maxey aren't doing anything for you in terms of like getting you to the next round of the playoffs. And at most, Tyrese Maxey and Paul George are getting you to maybe the second round of the playoffs. Maybe. If Joel Embiid's not healthy, if Joel Embiid's not 100%, if Joel Embiid's not playing at an MVP level. No, for God's sakes, no Miles Bridges. Only Bridges I'll take is McCall. Thank you. I'm back. I'm with you there. Sean Leslie, playoff P himself, right? Daz, what's going on? Daz, we got to help our dads, man. Yep, my pops is almost 80 and still works outside in midday as well. I tell my dad, man, I tell him, Pop, just, you need help with something? Just let me know. First off, don't need help with anything because I don't want you doing it. Like, I was really proud. My dad literally had 2 trees pulled out of his backyard a couple of weeks ago. And I was over the house picking up some stuff, real bangers like that, like those books. And I was like, hey, what happened to the trees in the back? And my dad goes, oh, I had them pulled up. I go, oh, you had them pulled up? He goes, yeah. I go, okay, well, I'm glad you had them pulled up. And I literally didn't walk in the backyard and see you with like a shovel and a saw taking down those trees. I was like, thank God. I don't want you doing that. Charles dead. Yep. God bless Papa Farzetta. Papa Joe, man. The guy's been working since he's like 4 years old. I want him to take it easy in his grandfatherly age. By the way, my son Leo loves him. Like, my mom's around the kids a lot. My dad's still working all that stuff. He's a realtor now. But my son loves him. Like, Pops is who he goes to. It's hilarious. And my mom's just like, well, look at that. April, what's going on? This is 1,000% my dad. He had a triple bypass last year and was back to work in no time. An old Marine. I like how you said that because you didn't say former Marine. You said old Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Trying to keep him from doing too much is impossible. My grandmother lived to be 96 years old, and I would always say, Mom, take a break. And she would say, you can't take a break. If you stop moving, you die. I'm like, God damn, all right, jeez. You could just said no. Phillies have reportedly scouted White Sox reliever. I haven't seen that. I want to put it. Sean, you're always on top of it. I wouldn't be shocked. Let's see here. There it is. Lord. Michael Kopech. Bruce Levine, 760 the score. Putting it out there. Saying that's what's what. Former first-round pick, drafted by the Red Sox in 2014. He's 28 years old, 6'3", having himself not the greatest of years, but then White Sox suck. 30 innings pitched, 44 strikeouts, ERA of 4.75. He's been in 30 games this year. 30 games, 7 home runs. 7 home runs in, 30 and a third innings. All right. I'll keep interest there. Thank you, Sean. Daz, I don't see Paul George putting us over the edge to win a championship. Neither do I. It all comes. The only person, regardless of who the Sixers get, that's going to decide whether or not the Sixers are over the edge or not is Joel Embiid. And it's because of this that, like, if the Sixers traded Joel Embiid this offseason, which is not happening, I'd be like, okay. All right, now it's Tyrese Maxey's team. Build around Tyrese Maxey. Let's see what you can get around Tyrese Maxey and go from there. Sean Gillespie, I don't want to go outside to pick up a food order. Sean Kilrain, Dombrowski has often targeted high-velocity relievers during his time leading in the front office. Kopech's fastball has average of 98 to 98.7 miles per hour this year. That's good. I mean, Soto can pop the mitt, you know. Alvarado, obviously, Hoffman, Kirkring, Dominguez. One of the things that it's like one of those things that I've said this before about the nickel corner position when Avante Maddox was on the show, and it's one of those things that you know, but you don't realize. Like you know it to be true, but it just hasn't dawned on. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but Avante Maddox was talking about how like the nickel corner position has become like just a legit position. It used to just be like, oh, well, yeah, he'll just play nickel, whatever. We're rarely going to be needing it anyway. But now the NFL is so incredibly pass happy as it's become over the last 20 years that's what you know. You always have a nickel corner, and it's like a starting cornerback for you. Well, I didn't realize this until Chase Utley had said it, but when Chase Utley came back with the Dodgers and had a press conference, people were asking him about, you know, how the game has changed in his career. And he said it, and I'm like, that's so true. I just never really dawned on it. He's like, and when he was coming into the league, they would have one guy, maybe two. The opposition would have one guy, maybe two guys in the bullpen that could throw 97, 98, 99 miles per hour. One, maybe one or two. And now it's like, if you want to be a big league reliever, you got to throw 98 miles per hour. It's absolutely insane. And it's one of those things that he said that I was like, oh yeah, that's so true. That is a huge difference between, you know, what, 2004, 2003 and 2015. Huge difference. Phillies may feel like pitching coach Caleb Cotham and other staff can get the most out of Kopech's fastball. I have a pronunciation thing here. Kopech. Okay. Kopech's fastball, cutter, slider, repertoire. Would you pull this trade, Farzy? I'd have to see more of them. I'll pay a little bit more attention than a name now. But look, if you're going to be... One thing I don't see them doing is making a trade for a guy they think is going to need work. Like, I think that's an off-season thing they do if they trade for a guy they think is going to need work. Injury issue 2019, opted out during COVID-19 in the shortened 2020 season. In his last, let's see, ERA there, 3.54, 5.43 last year, gross, 4.75 this year. Look at his game logs from this year, just to make sure it's not like one blow-up inning, whatever. All right, so it looks like he's allowed to run in the 31 and a third innings that he's pitched. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. All right, he's had 2 appearances where he surrendered 3 earned runs. He's had 2 appearances where he allowed 2 earned runs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 appearances where he allowed an earned run. Just 1 throughout his 30 games this season. Now let's see if we can compare him real quick to our boy Gregory Soto. And punch that up right quick because now you have piqued my interest, Sean Kilrain. Gregory Soto this year, 4.43 ERA, 28 games. Holy shnikes. Just looking at the numbers as far as earned runs, and getting away from earned run average, because obviously that could be a blow up. Gregory Soto has had a better year. 5 earned runs in the Colorado series, 2 earned runs against Miami back on the 10th of May, and then 4 other starts where he allowed 1 earned run. Cool. Maybe in the offseason. Jason A. Embiid is fine if he's healthy. Not healthy, we are a lottery team. Yeah, Jason A., it's kind of how it feels being a Sixers fan, unfortunately. Some Lakers fan bought 40 billboards to try to recruit playoff P. That's hilarious. CZ, good morning. Daz says good morning. Anyone see that triple crown or triple Corbin Carroll hit? Sorry. Anyone see that triple Corbin Carroll hit? That dude can flat out fly. I mean, I have seen him hit triples. He can fly. It's bonkers. Absolutely insane. April, that Cole Hamels bobblehead looks nothing like him. In all honesty, if you make bobbleheads and your bobblehead looks anything like the person that it's supposed to be, have you failed as a bobblehead maker? Because it's very rare that you ever see a bobblehead that looks. I could very rarely look at a bobblehead and go, "Oh, that's." If I look at the Cole Hamels bobblehead, I'm like, honestly, I thought it was Alec Boehm. When I first looked at the Cole Hamels bobblehead, I went, "Oh, is that Alec? Oh, that's Cole Hamels." It's like that court reporter or the court artist, sketch artist that drew Tom Brady looking like a zombie from Walking Dead. Corbin is a small guy, but yeah, he flies. He does fly. April, Farzi family time capsule. Dad's next book, Alcoholics for Dummies. Actually, not to take it to a serious note, but I rarely ever saw my parents drink. Still to this day. My dad doesn't drink now. I'm on medication. Yeah, Dad, I know 10 people with your same medication. They're all chugging wine. But yeah. CZ, sweet. Oh, Dad, you need it? You need those books? I got you. CZ Classics. Dad's Laugh Out Loud. Dad's Hilarious. CZ, that might be worse than what, the George Foreman book? Sean Gillespie, books on how to microwave. Let's pull one of those up. I feel like there's got to be something in here. This is the revised edition. So the first edition, they didn't revise. It was like, cook everything with aluminum foil. Just put aluminum foil all over everything. Put it in the microwave. No. Wieners and sausages. This book is graphic. Good Lord. All right. Wieners and sausages. Wieners and Frankfurters vary in size. Wieners and Frankfurters vary in size. Times in the chart are available for medium wieners, 10 to 12 minutes per pound. That can't be right. Let's look at the chart. Wieners and buns, high power, 30 seconds to a minute. 2 wieners and buns, that's 45 seconds to a minute and a half. Okay. 4 wieners and buns. Good Lord. Don't they tell you to not put hot dogs in the microwave anyway? Don't they explode? Now I'm curious. 1 minute, 45 seconds to 3 minutes. That's a wide range. Did the person writing this ever use a microwave? Or maybe since this is a microwave from, what did I say, 1976? 1978. First off, what the? Hold on. I grew up, my parents told me we were poor. We weren't. My parents told me we were poor. And they had a microwave in 1978? Seems highfalutin. Seems highfalutin. Know what I'm saying? By the way, my parents did a great job convincing my brother and I we were poor, despite not at all being poor. Great job, Joe and Eleanor. They did. My one cousin was like, what were you stupid or something? I'm like, yes, I was, still am, actually. You cover them with, you got to wrap them with the paper towel. Okay, that remains true. You still wrap them with the paper towel. All right, I want to help. You did not do these chickens in the microwave. You ain't fooling me. With grapes. This book is Sunday chicken bake. Bake in the microwave. Sunday chicken bake. This easy dressed up chicken dinner is microwaved at 50% medium because sour cream curdles at high temperatures. Skinning the chicken eliminates excess fat. 4 servings hot cooked rice. 2 boneless whole chicken breasts. 8 to 10 ounces. 1 can condensed cream of mushroom soup. Okay, hold on. I've actually had this meal many times. My mom, the corner's a little worn. My mom definitely consulted this. 2 tablespoons snipped fresh parsley. Yeah, definitely Eleanor that was one of her staples. Hold on. The one meal that I really craved from my mom, no, it was definitely made on the stove, was stuffed peppers. My mom, the stuffed peppers she made, oh my God. One of my favorite things on this planet. Okay, look, they're actually putting aluminum foil on the chicken. I'm sorry, this is a turkey. Defrosting turkey parts. Aluminum foil, fresh seafood, fish fillet, scallops au gratin, eggs. Huh, I'd actually do this with the eggs. Doesn't look terrible. Oh, an omelet looks delicious. Oh, hold on a second. If you did not have that timer in your kitchen, you weren't living life, man, as a child. Cheese. Soups. Vegetables. Vegetables in the microwave? What, are you crazy? The microwaving the corn thing, that's a big deal now. Baked potatoes, for all the people that need to know. The potato is an ideal microwave vegetable. I did not know that. The potato is an ideal microwave vegetable. Its high moisture content attracts microwave energy. And the natural light covering holds in steam. Oh, how about that? The potato's uniform density helps it cook evenly. All right. 1 potato, 3 to 6.5 minutes. 2 potatoes, 5 to 10 minutes. 4 potatoes, 10 to 16 minutes. There you go. They have it wrapped in aluminum foil. What the hell is going on here? Ooh, dinner breads. All right, that's enough. How about King James Bible first copy, like the actual first copy that they printed ever? Sean Kilrain, I'm guessing the books are going to be from the 70s and 90s. Nostalgia at its finest, Farzy. It really does take you back. I think your mom doesn't like someone's cooking. Sean Gillespie, they belong in a museum. You can't let the Nazis get these, Indiana. Oh, Daz, I have a Polish grandma you had the pierogies big time in your house, didn't you? I did. Oh my God, yeah. Like that was my childhood. My father being Italian, my mother being Polish. Pierogies and raviolis. Pierogi ravioli. That was, and my parents. When you're a kid, when I was a kid, I didn't like the red sauce, the gravy, and all that stuff. The marinara and all that. So it was often butter, like on everything. And my parents would not tell me. I had to bite into the pierogi or the ravioli to know what was what. And that's how they got me to try things. And it worked because now I just love that. There is, for me, like right up there with like any Italian cuisine I make, right up there. Like if you put a pierogi, a fried pierogi. Now I'm not talking like in like, bread the pierogi itself, but I'm like pan fried with butter, kielbasa, onions. Oh, that is for me. Oh, that is right back. That is a right back to my childhood type of dinner. April, you could read us a tip of the day. It wasn't like just like 10,001 little bullet points. You know what I mean? It was like really, they were really, to have a book that thick, they really went into it. Oh, Sean, that's a great question. My favorite meal with my mom. My favorite meal was the stuffed peppers that she would do. They were delicious. The pierogi were obviously fantastic. My dad, when he really started cooking, like his mom would cook when he was a kid. When he really started cooking, and like my dad lost his mom when he was 15, which is insane. And he was the youngest of 4 boys, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like these meals that my dad would tell me about, he started cooking when I was like 12. He started cooking like the braciole and the meatballs and all that stuff and the Sunday gravy and all that. And I just remember like, oh my God, Dad, where has this been? This is fantastic. This is what my mother would do every Sunday. It was just beautiful. So that, my dad making that was awesome. My mom making the stuffed peppers. Those are the 2 meals that, and pierogi, obviously. Those are the meals that just transform me back to my childhood. As my grandma would make every pierogi you could think of. She even made blueberry pierogi. That's fascinating. IBH, I used to get beat by a broom. Well, then obviously they read 10,001 ways to help your household. Daz, would love DeMar DeRozan, same category as Paul George, 34. Would like to see us get younger and faster, compete with the Celtics. I'd love that too. I just don't think. I mean, I do love DeMar DeRozan's game. When you talk about something from the 90s, his game is from the 90s. All that mid-range jazz. Jason, my parents either made me write sentences or tell me to get a switch from the backyard. I never got that. I never got the go cut your switch. I never got that. That was scary, man. I knew that from the Jackson 5 movie. Joe Jackson telling Michael, hey, go outside, cut your switch. Bring me a switch. Mommy, what's that mean? She's like, just be glad you don't know. Daz, Kopech throws some serious heat. All right. Getting Crockett out there. Crotchet. Daz, all right. Ultra Cowboy. 06-07 drafts filled with 76ers. Selected with number 1 pick, Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz, while the Celtics drafted Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum at 3. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's been terrible. I mean, you can make an argument for like the greatest organizational failure is the process. You could certainly make an argument for that. It could not have gone worse. I mean, okay, you got Joel Embiid. Wonderful. Tyrese Maxey is not part of the process. He was 20th overall pick. 21st? But as far as the Simmons, the Fultz, McCall Bridges, all that, not making it out of the second round of the playoffs, being in the second round of the playoffs the year before the process started, You went to a game 7 that year. You get a guy like Jimmy Butler and you let him go and you keep Tobias Harris. Here's something that I broke my buddy's brain with because he's a big process fan and he loves Sam Hinkie and all that stuff. And I supported the process. I'm not saying I didn't. I guess let's give this 3 years and see how we do. I told my friend, I was like, do you realize that Sam Hinkie would have traded Joel Embiid by now? Sam Hinkie probably would have traded Joel Embiid before this past season. Think about that. Let that ruminate. Would have gotten value. Would have gotten a great deal. And they would have, if Sam Hinkie would have drafted Tyrese Maxey, they would have drafted. I mean, this is all obviously a huge hypothetical. But one thing that I am pretty sure about is that Hinkie would have traded Joel Embiid by now. If Hinkie would have gotten that 9-year deal he wanted. Would love to see Luis Robert out here from the White Sox. Package deal, baby. Due to the Dodgers' injuries and Braves' injuries, Philly will win the NL pennant. I agree. I think so. 10-plus years begging for an elite closer. This is ridiculous at this point, says Daz. It's pretty funny you guys even kept the book. Hell yeah. This has changed my cooking game. There you go. This might be my new favorite segment. Mark reads cookbooks. Thank you, April. Glad you enjoyed it as much as I did. Charles said, "This is the content I signed up for." Be more careful. I'm late to the show. The sports news really that slow? Well, let me read you one more recipe. No, kidding. June 21st is Dead Sea. That's pretty much true. Brandon Ingram. Sean, yeah, that's a name that's going to be out there. Bit of a down year for Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans. That was the second pick in the Ben Simmons year. I would like to see Brandon Ingram play for the Sixers. I don't think it's going to be a wild cost like that of a Paul George, obviously. So yeah, I'd love to see it happen. Some people want Embiid gone, yeah. Yeah. And Jason, you're not one of those. There you go. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Dad's over under on Birds 365 talking about Sirianni press conference today. Hurts Sirianni press conference yesterday. Hey, look, there's a lot of stuff in there. We've dissected that 10 times over. Thanks, everyone in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Hey, tonight I will be on Locked On Sports Philadelphia's postcast for your Philadelphia Phillies. I'll be doing the postcast of that game with the Phillies and Diamondbacks, starting off their 3-game series tonight. As we have mentioned, Cole Hamels night at Citizens Bank Park as the Phillies go for their 50th win of the season. Jordan Montgomery will get the start against Taijuan Walker. Montgomery 5-4 in the season with a ERA of 6. Taijuan Walker 3-2 with an ERA of 5.33. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Be back with you guys tonight after the Phillies, and back with you guys again on Monday. And just one more announcement. Saturday, so tomorrow, I will not be doing the postcast after the Phillies game. Connor Thomas will handle that responsibility. I have a wedding I have to be at. My baby cousin. She's all grown up. All right. See you guys later. Bye.